I will let you know when you are live. And you are live now.
Woo.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our FBS Chat with Biba, the lovely Biba. Hi, you're right. So, Biba, first question I always ask, and I'm really fascinated to know how you came across solution-focused approach. What drew you to it? How did you know it was good for you? There you go. Start with that.
Well, I wouldn't expect any less of you, but with the question at the beginning.
You don't want her to introduce herself as to who she is, what she does?
Of course.
Okay.
Go.
So
he's not going even, Biba.
I love those gatherings. They're fun and useful. You know, we learn better when we have fun, don't we? So yeah, hi everyone. I'm Biba. Not my real name, but now a real name. But it was a nickname, and then I made it official. So now it is a real name. Yeah, you know, life happens in all sorts of ways. And coming across solution focus to me was an accident. It shouldn't have happened, but it has, and it was one of those things that make you wonder, like, where are we going? How come? And I couldn't have planned this, and life turned out so much better. It happened in 2014. I came to the UK for the first time then, up north to Manchester and Sheffield and Liverpool. I'm not sure whether the accent is right. I don't mean to make fun of anyone, but I thought it was so cute. But so I'm trying to imitate it. But as you can see, I'm failing. Yeah, I mean, then I was a researcher. I was working for University of Ljubljana in Slovenia. And as part of my research, there was a study abroad, some sort of research visit. And at that time, my occupation was disability in higher education. So students with disabilities, mainly in how to attain academic standards without lowering it, so adjustments for them. I think in the UK you call them adjustments, in the US they call them accommodations. So long story short, my hosting organization, which enabled me to visit different universities in the north, asked me to talk a little bit about our support system in Slovenia, which at that time didn't really exist. So there was nothing to talk about, or at least so I thought. And, you know, now 6 years later, it ain't much better in terms of legal formal provisions. So there is... it's not like it is in the UK, so which was the reason why I was in the UK, because UK has it quite well organized and it's been going on for a long time. So instead, I talked about how I was working with students, because at that time I was sort of coordinating the support for them as well as working with them one-on-one. And I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, most of the time we were trained in, you know, theories, mainly theories as in what's going on, how disability is impacting one's learning, one's brain activity, blah, 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 all that. So we had knowledge. And having that knowledge, I remember so often it came in the way, because I could provide, you know, understanding of what was going on, which for a particular student, sometimes it was good enough. Sometimes it made sense, and often it didn't. And then we were both frustrated, but I didn't know how to do any better. So anyways, after this presentation of mine, which I thought was pretty rubbish, they were quite polite. And of course, English are polite per se, but I thought it was very warmly polite, because they said, well, do you know anything about solution-focused brief therapy? And I've never heard of it. Yeah. And I thought, oh, interesting. No, what is it? And they didn't tell much, but they just said, well, some of the ways how you described what you are aiming to do and what you're sort of doing is similar, but if you want to know more, or if you want to get more equipped and get some tools in how you could do a job better, you might want to look it up. And I said, well, you know, fair enough. What do I do? And I got some contacts of Brief, and I wrote to Brief in London then in 2014. And one thing led to another. I wrote the most stupid email in my life. And I've done many stupid things in my life, but this is still one of the top of the list. It was something like, hello, I was told that you're the best at what you do, so I'm just writing to you to check if you're really. Can you tell me more? You can imagine him. And, I was full of adrenaline and abroad and so much happening and. And then what really got me to think that it was an embarrassing thing to do was the response came 2 minutes after I sent it out. It was very quick. And Chris Iveson wrote to me and he said, well, dear Miss Ribolj, thank you for your interesting email, which now, of course, means that, who are you? Why don't you come and visit us? And so I did. And one thing led to another. And instead of returning back home after 3 months, well, I never really returned back home.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
When was this?
That was 2014. Yeah, I mean, I came back home after, instead of 3 months, I came home after 6 months. I prolonged it. And I was quite okay with the money because, I don't know, lucky for getting EU money. So EU money to be in the UK, that's funny, isn't it? And yeah, I remember coming back home. I was so enthusiastic because everyone I've met so far who have come across SF, they thought, yes, that's it. That's what I need. That's what I've been looking for. That's what I've been wanting, because it's so succinct. It's so useful, isn't it? And it's so simple. You don't need to study for years and years and years to be able to feel equipped. Yeah. So that's how I felt. I felt equipped, but not experienced or good. But I was happy enough to give it a go. And I did with my students, and it made quite a big difference. So I proposed to the uni that we started using it more. They were at first quite keen on it, so I started working with my students. And of course, as you know, I was never happy with just that. So I proposed that we offer those services for any student who would find themselves in distress, because higher education is stressful, isn't it? And we didn't have any support. So I thought, why not? I could do that. And long story short, it was very complicated to embed something like this in the university system. And I didn't have enough patience, and I didn't want to return back to my original way of working, because I guess once you sort of get an eye-opening of how you could do a different job with a completely different framework, you can't really go back, can you? At least I couldn't. So I left and became freelance. And there you go.
So you didn't just join a brief training session. You wrote them a letter, and then you went over there for 3 months.
6.
Oh, oh no. That would have been a dream, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
No, I came down for first training. I think it was with Harvey Ratner, and it was for education professionals. And I remember 1 hour into the training, I was already told off by Chris Iveson for the first time. So I thought, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. He's told me off so many times after that. We were watching him doing a live session with a client. And I remember I didn't know much about it. I mean, I did some reading before going to brief about SF, and I liked what I read. But I thought, fair enough. I mean, a paper or a blog or a written word, they can take many things. I can write most miraculous stories, but it doesn't mean that there's any flesh on those bones. So I need to see it. Because one thing is what you say or what you write. Another thing is what you do. And I was aware of that. So I really wanted to see. And so that was one thing. And the second thing was, even if I saw what I liked or it made sort of justice to what was written, I still needed to see if it would fit me. Like, I'm a huge, massive fan of skinny jeans, but my legs look like guitars in them. You know, I just can't wear skinny jeans. It's just, otherwise I look ridiculous, and that sort of ridiculousness I don't want to do. So it's really important, I think, for someone deciding if that's their way of working, to try it out, to have an opportunity to see if they could be a good fit for the approach, not just the approach to be a good fit for them. So I remember observing the session, not knowing about anything, and it was sort of, say, a classic story. A person comes in quite depressed, looking down upon, and not being happy about anything. And I can't remember any of the questions, but I could see in the therapy room, because we were observing through live cam, how she changed and how she became hopeful in less than 30 minutes. And I remember my jaws just dropping. I thought, this can't be it. And there was nothing going on. There was no drugs, no handles, no psychosis, nothing. It was just casual chat. And the chat didn't even ring a bell to me. It didn't sound significant. And then when Chris returned back to the main room and he said, so what did I ask? And I started being clever and he shut me down. And the journey continued. Yeah, I kept coming back for courses, and then I started researching in Slovenia, my home country, how many people knew about SF. There were some that knew about it. Most of them knew the first version of the approach, so the original, Steve DeShazer in UK Berg. Didn't know about how it's evolved, how it's taken different routes. And there was nobody who would train people in it. So I thought, well, I better start doing it, because I wanted more people to know about it, and I wasn't skilled or being in a position to train, but there was nobody else. So I started, and then Chris came down to Slovenia. We did some teaching together, and I think I started doing that in 2016. So now we've got four generations. Not bad, eh?
Yeah. Well, from 2014 to 2016, from learning the approach to now teaching it.
Yeah, it sounds too good to be true, doesn't it?
Yeah, sounds amazing.
But you know, no, go on.
No, I was just wondering, because I know a lot of people might struggle with that, especially students with additional needs. We would say that would this approach work with them, or that we need to know exactly what those needs are. When did you know that this would be a good fit, even for children with additional needs?
Oh, well, good point that you're making there, Joe. Yeah, I mean, at my uni, it was all about, but I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just that we thought that this was necessary, and we thought that this was useful, is to make assessments in terms of how one's additional needs, how one's needs or special needs or disability, how I want to call it, how it impacts their well-being and their learning, so that you could then, in a team or together with teachers, decide how to best support that student. But it's kind of deficiency model, isn't it? It goes into looking into what person cannot do, and it very easily misses what person can do. And SF is sort of the opposite. It looks into, okay, so what are you hoping to get from your studies? And we thought previously that most of the students wanted to be successful, and that they wanted to achieve, I don't know, something. But for some students, that wasn't even a case. I mean, some students just wanted to be part of the university, just wanted to study. And academic success, I mean, this is such a broad term, isn't it? And it could mean different for everyone and anyone. So as I was asking students about, so what is it that you're hoping for? And what do you imagine it would look like? What would you like to be seeing as you're studying this subject and such? And that became of vital importance when future students were choosing whether this study course would have been a good fit for them or not. It was specifically useful then to sort of clear expectations and hopes, which are not the same thing. And then to start useful discussions together with academic staff to see, not to see for possibilities and to look for possibilities, rather than say, oh, this student has hearing problem, they can't study music. We think like, Who the hell do you think you are? What? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it's limiting them, isn't it? It's just it's just making assumptions that they're not capable of doing something because they have a hearing impairment or whatever it might be. Whereas actually, the world is their oyster. There's
Well,
always
yeah.
ways around everything.
Yeah. And I don't think that there is massive difference, as in, I mean, there are, of course, all sorts of identities going on there, but one identity is the same. It's student identity. I want to be a student. And there is, of course, the identity of additional needs. And those two go together. It's not that there is a person with disability, which is often seen that they're not a student. It goes hand in hand. So it's just, some students learn that way better. Some students learn that way better. So does that mean that they cannot participate fully? Of course they can. In a way that is right for them, and of course the study program. And there are ways that this can be done without limiting it right at the very beginning and say, because you have dyslexia, you won't be able to study languages. Which was in higher education, I think it's quite a dilemma, like how to set academic standards so that most of the students would be able to attain them without lowering them.
So were your managers at the university quite open to you trying the approach, or did you have to persuade them?
Oh, well, it was they were sweethearts. I did enjoy enormous trust, so pretty much I could do whatever I wanted. But when I started talking about this whole English thing that I'm bringing with me, and how they saw how enthusiastic I was, but that wasn't anything new. They knew me before. But when I proposed opening up for other students as well, I remember I had to make a presentation more about what and how and what the approach is and how it's used and da-da-da. And I remember I had 20 or 25-minute presentation and an hour discussion after. So, and they were really not favorable. And I can understand. I mean, they were worried because there was obvious risk, and they couldn't just say yes to something and open up a possibility of someone to experiencing psychological distress. They couldn't allow for that to happen. And I remember one particular comment from one of the professors from the Department of Psychology. He said, well, you know what, I'm very skeptical about those brief approaches, because it seems like you would treat someone with an aspirin while they would need a surgery. And I thought, well, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. And I said, I was young then and really bold. I said, okay, so what you're saying is that you'd rather have everyone opened up even when an aspirin would do?
Yeah, but hold on, Biba. Would you not have said the same thing now? I don't think it was because you were younger. I can imagine you saying something like that now.
Oh, well, yeah, maybe I would have asked a question or two before. Yeah, so that kind of illustrated the point.
Yeah.
And they gave an initial yes back then. But then in the long run, it just became overly complicated. And I could see that there were more people not favorable towards it than yes. So I left. And it was funny because I got called back quite often to deliver some workshops or trainings, which I was very pleased because I really liked working with students and young people. And this is what what's still at the core of my passion at the moment, young people.
Yeah. So what are you doing now?
Oh, I am happily on a lockdown in London. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I love groups. This is kind of, I guess, in the SF world that people know me most about, that I do group work, so SF group work. And I've always fancied groups so much. I think it might be, this is going on YouTube, so yeah, hell. So that SF group work is for very, very lazy SF practitioners. Because, you know, the group
hold on, I need a minute.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, because I mean, it of course depends how much of the work you as a facilitator put on your shoulders. But if you like sort of to give the stage to the participants, so group members, then it's most of the work is done by themselves. It's really beautiful. I mean, to me, I love watching group evolve, becoming a group, going through the process. And there seems to be something, powerful about groups. It's not just questions. I know in SF you hear many people who would say it's all about questions. I think in group it's hard to say, and I don't want to say that that's how it is, but it seems that the group dynamic as such has an added value. Like we behave differently when we're in a group, don't we? Like hearing each other, learning with each other, mutually inspiring each other. That's really powerful.
Yeah, and very empowering. Very, very, very empowering. Yeah. No, I agree.
So when so you left the university and went out on your own?
Yeah, in 2015. Didn't last long.
Yeah. So what was your first training event like? That must have been really exciting.
My first SF training, you mean?
That you delivered.
That I delivered. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that this hasn't been my first, but it's the first that I can remember as a memorable. It was the first generation that I trained in 2016. But I must have done some bits and pieces of workshops or group facilitation where I inserted in bits of SF, but it wasn't like the whole training on training people how to do SF or showing my own sessions, showing my own material. What was that like? It was fun. I'm thinking like when this stops being fun, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I don't want to do it anymore. It has to be fun. I had a group of, I think, 25, and there were not even two people were from the same industry, if you wish. So I had pharmacists, musicians, trainers, psychologists, therapists, social workers, everyone in one group. And it was so much fun. We had great fun together. I still have very fond memories of this generation. And that being said, I mean, when I looked at the file, at the PowerPoint from that first generation and the PowerPoint that I use now is completely different thing. Because of course you change, don't you? And you give different examples, and then your own opinion and emphasis changes. But yeah, I mean, I guess it was still SF. I hope.
Yeah.
No, hang on. Was it really? I can't remember. I think it was 2015 even. Never mind. I must be getting old.
Do you know how much I really enjoy speaking to you? Even if it's private chat or something, I absolutely really enjoy your company. You're just so real. And I absolutely love it because you're so passionate about it. And when you are talking about your practice, it really does show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I guess it's mutual because, yeah, Joe and I, we have spent a year together, haven't we? Learned.
We did. On and off.
Oh, I mean, Biba, there was a conversation in the office. Was it last week, Joe, where we said, "Oh, Biba's joining us next week," and Joe said, "No, it's my Biba," and I said, "No, she's my Biba. No, she's my Biba. No, she's my Biba." And we had a little bit of a little bit of conflict going on there. But after this, we can decide which one of us you choose. Maybe.
I'm bless you guys. That's really cool.
So you've got your private practice as well, Biba?
Yeah, I'm 100% freelance now. So I mean, before lockdown, yeah, and that's a funny thing, isn't it? Life is one surprise after another, isn't it? I mean, I never imagined leaving university because I liked it. I mean, I was on my way to becoming a professor maybe and having an academic career, and then, well, that happened, and I felt it was right. At the time, I remember when I talked with my friends about going freelance to Slovenia, wasn't or still isn't very, say, freelance friendly country. Taxes are really high. Market is very small, so it's hard to make it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to be 30. I don't want to have any regrets in my life. I just feel this is right for me, and I'll work around the math later. So who cares, about the details like taxes or legal frames. So I just work it out as I go, and it worked. How it worked. I started at that time also working with Slovenian National Agency for Erasmus+, which is a EU program. Like this big program, it's a big budget, not just exchanges in higher education, which is what it used to be in the old program. Now it's for young people up to 30 going abroad to do internships, volunteering, exchanges, all sorts. So I became the trainer of the EU Commission in those programs, and I always kind of insert SF in them, and that's really cool. So that's where I do most of my group work. And before lockdown, I used to be living out of a suitcase mainly. I mean, every month being in a different country, and it was much fun. So that stopped with lockdown. But yeah, I mean, what can you do? It's nothing you can do. So it's room for something new. So now I work with an organization called Young Women's Trust, which is based in London, and I really like them. They're so lovely. So they're kind of advocates, and they're very passionate about economic justice and independence for young women. And I thought that's the sort of thing I want to support. That kind of rings my bell. So I'm one of their coaches.
Wow.
But I miss my group. I want my group back.
And is that right? You do a lot of your sessions online?
Yeah, most of them. I mean, I've always done them online. Well, for the reason that I used to travel so much, and being in the UK and then being in Slovenia and then being somewhere else, I never bothered having my own physical space. I mean, I did have my previous institutes, to which webpage you have rolling below. That has physical location, and it's located in Slovenia. Occasionally, I used to see clients there, but it was just so much more convenient to do it online. And clients, surprisingly, not now in the lockdown, especially, I suppose, but even previously, they really liked it. It was, fun being covered in a blanket that I stole from an airline, wearing my jogging pants underneath, and secretly nibbling on something as I turn away. Well, not now. It has benefits, and sometimes if I spoke with a young person who was referred, who didn't really want to see me, all they needed to do was click on that little red X, and I'd be gone. And I think that's really respectful, isn't it? Fair enough. I mean, if you don't want to see me, all you have to do is just out I go.
I mean, because of the lockdown, obviously, as an organisation, we've had to adapt to this way of working. Because this was doing Zoom sessions was alien, and it felt really strange at first. But this is something you've been doing for a while.
How did you get on it?
Like I say, it felt a bit odd not being with people. There was something about that, not having that physical presence. I think the beauty of it is like you say, if someone is a bit shy or doesn't want to show their face, they can always turn the camera off. We can still hear them. We can still have that conversation. And I think we were worried because of some of the clients we see, it can be volatile. So if we're not in that physical space, how do we intervene in that sense? But it's been a godsend. I don't know what we would have done without it.
Yeah, true. We're blessed, aren't we, that we've got the technology, that we've got good enough internet. Not in London, by the way.
Something goes.
And also having permission from our clients to tape the sessions has been a massive learning curve for us. Don't know about Aisha, but I look back at some of my sessions, and it's really useful to look at that.
Yeah, that's true, and painful sometimes as well, isn't it?
Oh God, can
true.
be really painful.
But I think it's very important to look back and reflect, and notice notice when the client is responding positively to your questions, and notice when it's not working, because then we need to change the way that we're asking the questions. Yeah, and that's been interesting.
And recordings never lie, don't they? I mean,
I'd like to, but it's not.
Like sometimes you're leaving the session and you've got this image in your head of what was going on, and then you look at the recording and you think like, what was I thinking asking that question?
Yeah.
Or sometimes you think the opposite, like you think you've done rubbish, but looking back, it was actually hard work that paid off. But you couldn't really know when you end the session, could you?
Okay. So in terms of, I mean, I know, because like you're saying, this approach seems to evolve all the time. It's never a constant sort of people, you know, it's so adaptable for one. I mean, we've seen that in personal coaching, in group work, with all sorts of issues. Where because you're one of the young guns. See, I'm a bit old. I'm a bit of one of the old fuddies. But where do you see the future of it? Where do you what excites you about the future of SF?
Oh, well, let's say that we spent 30 minutes arguing behind the stage about you being young or old, okay? So let's say that we've come back, we've had some good punches and that. Right, yeah, well, my dream, and this is a shared dream, is not just me. I've got two wonderful colleagues whom you know, Ben Scott and Greg Oberberg. We have kind of partners together a while back for having discovered this shared passion for wanting to keep this approach simple. I mean, I'm quite passionate about all sorts of things that are going on and coming my way. And it's very easy, I think, to put on more complexity. I think, oh, that's interesting, and that's interesting, and that's really cool. Like I started growing my own plant. I'll show you. So this is a cherry tree. And then I've got a bay leaf. So when this cherry tree grows, it's going to look down on the bay leaf and say, remember the times when I was little? And anyway, so, you know, it's so easy to get carried away. By the way, it's got 11 leaves now. You see. In 30
we're
years,
going to have to see that. We're going to have to see that.
In 30 years, you can come and pick some cherries if we're still alive. But it's so much more difficult to say, do we really need that, or is it just because it looks nice, it sounds interesting, but is it really useful? And that's hard. It's hard to kind of what we like to call carve the elephant. And we had a metaphor from someone who trained us, showing us a picture, a set stone, and given us a task like carve an elephant from that stone. Like, how would you go about it? And we had a couple of ideas and came down to the idea that it's best to, you know, just get rid of the additional stone until the elephant shape comes along. That's the least resistant way of doing it. And in SF, that's kind of similar. I mean, not saying that this is how it should be done, but this is kind of our core passion, where what we would like to do. So keep SF succinct, minimalistic, if you wish. Minimalistic in the sense, don't do more if you can do less, or just that. And we really want to, I mean, this I guess from my side goes back to my uni days, where I'm not a psychologist. I mean, I have a doctorate in education, but it's not psychological. But I got very often this, maybe a little bit of looking down upon attitudes from psychologists, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, even social workers sometimes, but not very often. Like, who do you think you are getting into our profession? And not in the UK as much, but in Slovenia very much so, as if they own the field. And of course, fair enough, you know, you have studied this, this is the job that you do, and I'm just someone coming in with, you know, 1 year of training behind me. It looks ridiculous. So how dare I? But you know what? Fuck it, I do dare. Sorry. Somebody's just gonna kill me one day, I think. So I would really like to see, and the three of us equally so, this deprofessionalizing professions, in a sense. SF, we see such a wonderful tool to be given to frontline workers, like youth workers, nurses. I live here in a house with an NHS worker who's a nurse in dialysis, and he finds it so useful. And you think, like, this is the people that we want to train. This is the people that we want to reach, and give them those tools so that they could use it. And it shouldn't be that difficult. And then imagine the difference that we could all make. It doesn't mean that the professionals are no longer professionals, or that they're kind of being taken away the power that they deserve. Well, some of the power they don't deserve, but much of the power, they're still going to do their job. I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I don't do psychological work. I see clients who come for therapy, but that's not, I could have been a psychologist, but it's not my job to assess them, to write any reports. That's not in my competency of framework, if you wish. So it's not competing, is it? And if we've got social workers, youth workers, group facilitators collaborating together, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, and I can see why they might be scared.
Oh, what, you think that I am going to kick their ass? No.
Well, no, it's having all those years of study and that sort of title, and having a young person come in and saying, actually, we can actually be more minimalistic and still have good effect. Yeah. That's what's scary, I think.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm no different. Like, for instance, sometimes I get this, but everyone could have a doctorate. And I'm thinking like, oh, you go and try it and then you can talk. And then I realize this hierarchical, how easy it is, for me to looking down upon something who wouldn't have it. And it's the same sort of thing. But then, if you have accomplished something and if you have studied so hard to get something, doesn't that give you additional humbleness to see the person and meet them where they are and say, well, what makes you say that? I mean, what is it that you are passionate towards? What do you want to do? You don't have to go down that route of saying, oh, you tried yourself and then we'll see. It doesn't open up possibilities for future collaboration, does it? But it can easily be done.
Yeah. You don't sound like anyone who's ever had a doubt about where they're going or what they want to do. Have there been times when you've had to, where you've had those doubts?
I don't think there's been a day in my life where I knew where I was going.
See, Joe, we shouldn't make assumptions.
No, but you've grabbed it and you've run with it, and you said in Slovenia it wasn't really heard of, and it was a bit more difficult maybe to sell it, but you just seem to have ploughed on with it, and you're still trying to make a difference now in the field.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I've been thinking about that today on my walks. Like, as you say, trying to make a difference. I think I've got a little bit of problem with that. Okay. Like, not with making a difference, but with trying. I can see sometimes, on Facebook, people who are fighting for justice, or trying to accomplish something, or trying to be helpful. There you go. That's another sort of mantra in helping professions. And I haven't worked around my thoughts around that, but I think it might be unhelpful very often, because it sort of goes with resistance. Like, I'm pushing something against, and then tensions come. Or like, I don't know, recent discussions on achieving more tolerance amongst certain topics. Like, we want tolerance and we are going to kill everyone who is against us. That's not the way to achieve that, isn't it? It's just, and I think trying to do anything does no good. I think our job is not to be helpful, or trying to motivate people towards something. I'd much rather, and I don't want to argue with people who think otherwise. I think it's fair enough that we have different opinions. I think it's much easier, sort of less resistance and better flow if people get inspired. Like, whenever they want to get inspired, and not that they need inspiration, but, if you see somebody passionate about something and they're really enjoying their life, how could you not get inspired and wanted some of that as well? And not to take that person as a leader, because I have a problem with leaders as well. like anyone.
Really?
Yeah, I think, like, look, if you like work in diversity and inclusion and all of that, you don't thrive in a community of a leader and a fan, because obviously you have to be a fan in order for the leader to communicate with you. But what if you're not a fan, and if you have different opinion, and if you want to learn differently, then the leader is not going to let you room for expressing that, because they only listen to the fans. And as long as you are kind of being, oh, this is great, I agree with you, we're doing okay, but as soon as you don't, you're out of here. And I think it's much nicer. It's much lighter, less resistance if we are servants. So, here I am. That's what I do. That's what I like doing. And if I'm not going to like it anymore, then I'm going to go and do something else. But I want to have fun, and I want to meet people on the way like you who have fun doing what they do, and who are enjoying doing what they do, and who are sort of tuned in so that they can be who they are, and not who they think they need to be in order to help people, make a difference. All of that are consequences that come naturally, but they're not the goal, I think. I don't know. My God. Such a mess now.
So you've got your little. So you and Ben and what's
Greg?
Oh, Greg. Okay. Are hoping that obviously to bring it to a wider audience.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. We like calling it the next wave of practitioners. There was a while where in SF field there was a lot of talk about the next generation, and we thought that sounds really nice. And then we thought, but generation is kind of age bound, so maybe it excludes people who would think, oh, I'm too old for this, but I'm still new in the SF. So we wanted to capture those people. Say, I don't know, where age doesn't matter, but
whether you captured Joe.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, but Joe is an oldie goldie in SF, aren't you, Joe?
I mean, I attended one of your New Wave networking.
Oh yeah, we love having you there.
And it was absolutely amazing. I really, really enjoyed it, and I really benefited from it.
No, I'm very pleased to hear that.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, make sure there's more to come.
Yeah, I mean, we're hoping. We have recorded some of the trainings that we're doing with our fellow partner, Jamie, who's a wonderful video guy. So we are playing around with the idea to make trainings, video trainings, sort of user-friendly, so that it isn't PowerPoint and talking. I mean, this is obviously straightforward, formal education, and people learn differently. So we wanted to make it more maybe animated, entertained. I don't know. I'm not sure whether we managed, but we'll see.
I'm just going to put up a post because Mark is so loyal to FBS Chat. We love Mark.
Hey, Mark. Hi.
And he's going to be joining us soon. I kind of told him he has to. He doesn't have a choice. Bless him. He did write interesting reflections, Biba. Hope that you will get some continuance. But also before then, he did state, and I'm going to find it. There are so many fantastic things on here. You know, when we were arguing over who you belong to, Biba, because obviously you're a prized possession. Can I say she's my Biba? Love to see you guys. So I'm going to have it out with him. Although I did say we can share.
Oh, as long as you guys don't fight, there's plenty of me for everyone. And if you don't mind, in 30 years' time, I'm going to be so fed up with those shares. I'm going to be so big, so we could have a share.
So if we were to look on your website, because we have your the link there, what would we find? What would be available to us?
All right, so I'll send you a different site where you could find trainings, because my site that you have is a nicely looking where I post my blogs, and which are actually sharing my current thoughts of whatever, and they're obviously imbued with, infected with SF, but I don't mean it as in self-help SF or SF lifestyle, nothing like that, but just in terms of what's useful in a given situation. But this link that I put in the chat, can you see?
Yeah.
So that's a better one. That's a better one for trainings. So if somebody wanted trainings, there are also some downloadable free resources for people to get a gist of what Ben and Greg and I are doing, because we are sort of the entity. In the UK now, my institute is still in Slovenia and in EU, and I joke with everyone I can when they ask me, where are you from? I say, well, I'm a European from the UK, and yeah, long live. And I think that's really cool. And I love being in the UK, yeah. And you know, when you commented earlier, like, have you always known where you were going? Well, I never imagined moving to the UK in the first place. I never imagined talking here with you guys. It's life that gives you all those treats, and then sometimes you jump.
Yeah.
Like we're going to do next May, aren't we?
Yes. So let's plug that in very quickly. So guys, Biba and I, because I asked Biba, she said yes. It was match made in heaven. We are going to skydive to raise funds for family-based solutions. So we want as many people as possible to join us all over the world. So no matter where you are, you can arrange a skydive and help us raise some funds for the charity. So do look at our Facebook pages and to get more details. But yeah, Biba and I are definitely on it, and we are going to have to coax Joe into doing that, because Joe is a big birthday this year. So I think we should celebrate that next year, May, with a skydive.
And we
if anyone's going to help him or encourage him to do it, Biba, it's going to be you, because he doesn't listen to me.
I don't think Joe's the kind of guy that listens to anyone. Really.
No. I'm very stubborn, Biba. You know that.
Oh yeah, and a great learner. I remember our sessions in our diploma that we did co-coaching together. I always enjoyed those massively.
Yeah. No, that was a really great time down at Brief. And if any of the team are out there, I'd like to say hello to them.
Hello. When are we having our reunion? I miss the pubs. They're reopened now. Well,
that's Ben's job. You got to tell Ben. He's the guy that organises this stuff. So yeah, have a reunion. Yeah. So you've got this. So you've got this online network going as well now. Is that a new thing?
Well, we started doing it in March when the UK went on a lockdown, and we thought, you know what? Now it's such strange times. Can we do something? It didn't really feel right selling anything because people didn't have money, and we thought, you know what? We've got time. Everyone's got time. Let's just gather together, make some exercises, and let people practice them, so that in a way that they would connect with each other and discover what they can learn, if they could learn anything. So we started doing it with that intention, and then it just became sort of a habit. So every month we meet, and every month one of us shares something that's been on their mind, as in innovative thinking. And this word is too big, I suppose. But you know, when you're seeing clients, every client that comes, I guess, is a new opportunity for you to learn something new. And that often happens, and sometimes there will be Ben sharing a story, and then from that we'll make an exercise, and then Greg and me. So that's keeping format simple.
And if people want to join this group, how do they join?
On Facebook events, on our webpage on Facebook, or they could join a mailing list. Shall I put the email address where they could write to us, so they can be put on an email list?
Yes. I don't think I'm on that mailing list.
You're not? How dare you?
Well, not how dare you not just automatically put me on there?
I don't know. You must have seen it on Facebook then. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. We're terrible at marketing. Like, I personally hate this classic marketing. I think it's just intrusive, and it makes me want to vomit. And even if I hadn't had a bad lunch, I don't know, it's just not my thing. So yeah, but you have to do it, don't you, if you want to get your message across. So I'm kind of always shy when people say, oh, what have you got on? I'm like, yeah, well, but fortunately, you know, I never had to do it personally, I suppose, because people were drawn in through different channels. So I was quite lucky so far. Guys like you.
It sounds like a really useful platform, though. Like you say, if you've got something to bring, and then do some exercises around that and some training around that, because it's what the people are looking for.
Yeah, that goes with what you were saying, with SF approach evolving all the time. I mean, you might see yourself do same thing over and over without realizing, and one day you're going to look at your tape and you're going to say, hang on, it's interesting. Why have I done that? And then you try it again, but you try it for the sake of trying, and then you discover something new, and bam, there you go. Well, we're not there yet, okay? Yeah. But I guess this is how learning happens. Learning doesn't happen, well, different types of learnings. Obviously, you learn in a classroom certain things, but learning happens. The most useful learning happens when you've got an empty pocket, don't you? In an unplanned way. So maybe it's good. Yeah, skydiving. Like, okay, I learned.
We'll be screaming Joe's name as we jump. Joe!
And like you say, look, it's you learn from every single client. It's a mutual process.
Yeah. I mean, you can learn. Not saying that it always happens. Sometimes you just don't feel like learning, or you haven't got much mental capacity for that. And what we discovered, I think it really helps when you've got a team behind.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I learn much more from bench sessions than I do from my own. Because my own, I think like, I know why I'd ask this question. I already know, have it all figured out. But with Ben, I'd be like, why did you ask that question like this? And then it's useful learning for him as it is for me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be nice. I'll catch up on the next one. It'll be nice to see you and Ben again.
Oh, I'll give you a date for it. Hang on.
Yes, give me the date.
Yeah, I'll give you a date. We've got it. So it's gonna be 23rd of July.
23rd of July.
23rd. Yeah, we haven't sent out the emails yet. I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I think.
Okay.
That's tomorrow, 2 weeks' time at 8 p.m. British summer time.
Brilliant.
8 p.m. our time. Sorry, I've got to put this in. This is more important. SFB bar. 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, well, Aisha, I'll put you on the mailing list, so you'll get the link to register, because when you register, you get the link to the.
I'll register everyone else as well.
Cool. Yeah, well, brilliant. And we seem to be having quite a consistent group by now. So a couple of. I hope that they don't see themselves as followers, because I really don't want to see followers. I want to see, new wave. The last thing I would want is for us to be seen as someone to follow. No, no, we're all in this together, aren't we? And we learn with each other. You say something, I say something, and we both grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So, Biba.
Joe? There we go.
Oh my God, now it's coming. I can see something big is coming.
Did I move too close to the screen and it's quite scary.
I remember this face.
But I always ask this, and sometimes I get told off because it's not the question that matters, it's the answer, and I get all that. But you can't have an answer unless you ask a question. Otherwise, it's just a comment. So what are your favourite SF questions? Give me 5.
Okay. Oh, I give you 5. I give you 10 if you want. I mean, it makes sense what people are saying, of course, but for the gist of what you want, of course, you've got some of your favorites. Like when you train others in SF, there are some questions that you just absolutely love, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, my one favorite question that I've got, and it became prominent that it's the favorite question when I was working with Iran. Because I know how it sounds. I've said it so many times that I learned the Persian word for it, which is digechi.
Wow.
Digechi. The only word in Persian I know. Shame.
Just keep saying it over and over again. You'll be fine.
Digechi. Digechi. Now you try.
Digechi.
There you go. Digechi. And it means what else?
I love it. Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, this question is so cool. I just love this question. What else? And I remember, Joe, when we were in the diploma, and my supervisor, Yasmin, I think I had a question like, how many times can you, or do I sometimes feel really stupid for asking what else, like 10 times already. And she said, bless her, she said, well, when you're absolutely fed up with yourself, then go ahead and ask 3 more times, and then you can stop. That kind of illustrated the point. So yeah, it's what else. And then there is one question I was just doing this morning. I work, and this sounds much grander than it really is. So don't take it as granted. I work with Slovenian government sometimes. as their external trainer, and Slovenia is getting ready for EU presidency next year.
Ooh, hang on.
That's not grand at all. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I trained some of their delegates and leaders in some soft skills to get ready for the presidency the best they can, and obviously I bring SF in. And today we were exploring some questions, and I really love the question: who'd be the least surprised to see you succeed?
Oh.
So when you're kind of looking at the resources, like who'd be the least surprised to see you succeed? I think that's such a nice question, and I don't know who has the credits for it. I really don't know, but I think it's
you have now.
no. It hasn't grown on my little garden here. No. But I absolutely love it. So that would be the second. And I also I'm not sure whether this is an SF question, but I think it goes really well in the SF process, as in saying, can I ask you some more questions?
Mm-hmm.
I think with clients that works really well. Is sort of asking for permission if you can carry on with the work, especially with young people. I think it gives them a sense that you really respect them and meet them who they are, where they are, without this, I'm going to ask you some questions because I'm a fucking professional. So can I ask you some more questions? And I think that also gives a message across, are we going in the right direction here? And sometimes people would say, often they would say yes, and sometimes they would say, no, that's enough on that, and then you do something else. So that's the third. Then let me see what else. I see what else.
What else? Biba, what else?
I also really like the ending. I think I learned that from Evan George, who said, well, how do you close the session? And this is how I most of the times do it. I ask people, has there been anything that I haven't asked you and you would like me to ask you, or anything that you haven't said because you didn't have a chance, I would like to. I think that's also a really nice sort of invitation. And then I know that you've had that so many times from so many inspiring people that you were talking with, but the difference question is so powerful. Like, what difference does that make? And in Slovenian language, it's not used very commonly, because in English language you can hear it quite often, but in Slovenian language, what difference does that make is sort of underrated. And when people discover it, they love it. It starts making sense. You know, when I tell them, say, the scaling question, and most often people would say scaling as in, how come you're at 5, not at 6? And they would start answering from that perspective. Sometimes they wouldn't even hear the question, like, how come you're at 5, not at 4? And then when they start answering, you say, well, what difference has that made for you being on a 5 rather than 4? And bam, it just goes on. And it's so cool, so brilliant. Such a simple question. But, you know, I'm a lazy practitioner because I do group work. I like simple and questions that you can repeat over and over and over, and they still produce different answers. So that's...
Oh, that's your 5. Well done.
Yeah.
I could just imagine her sitting there, you know, playing on her phone. Not that you would, guys. And Biba's not like this, but I just had this image of her playing on her phone going, yeah, what else? Yeah, what else?
Oh, yeah. And, you know, I don't mean to this in a dismissive way, but like when I do texting session with a client, and we've been doing quite a lot recently, texting sessions, really cool stuff. Like when I respond to the client, I go and do something else. I check my Facebook, I check my LinkedIn, I check, I don't know. And you know, think like, how could you? But, you know, I discovered that if I stay and look at their answer, I find myself analyzing what are they saying. But then I think, like, that's none of my business. I mean, they've said, and this is the answer that I've got. So I asked my question, and now I can go and do something else. It's their turn to answer. So I'm not going to ask more questions. They got the question, so it's their turn.
Yeah.
So I do that totally. Do you have any board games to play?
Candy Crush and a bit of texting
and
a bit of what else, and what difference did that make? Quick. Now scale it.
Let me just get one more what else in, so while I finish this episode. No, of course we wouldn't do it that way, but yeah, I mean, I think it makes it light, because of course we're working with really serious matters and people's lives are important, So we shouldn't be taking ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And they can feel that.
I think they can. And, I'm not going to help anyone change anything. It's them who is going to do all the changes. So I'm insignificant in the process. Like, all I do is ask questions, which will hopefully be useful. But that's it. That's what I do.
Oh, we love you.
Well, I love you too.
I love you more than Joe.
Oh God.
Don't you get competitive? It's like orange and green. They're both lovely colors.
Joe and I and Tara Gretton can tell you that we can be, well, I can be a little bit competitive, but only in jest.
Tara is so lovely, yeah.
Joe's not very competitive.
No, I'm not. I'm very relaxed.
He just listens to me just saying. So Tara gave him a gold star for something today, and I'm still waiting for my gold star. So Tara, if you're watching, I'm still waiting.
Oh, Tara, gold star. Otherwise, you know what? I'm gonna give you a banana.
Thank you.
There, it's one and only special banana.
You need to come and see us if you're in London.
Yeah.
This is rude. You haven't even let us know that. I thought you was in Slovenia.
Wow.
Yeah, outrageous.
Outrageous. That is outrageous. I'm going.
Lorraine, hold on, Biba. Lorraine, come on air and say outrageous, please.
Say it was outrageous.
It's outrageous, Biba.
Oh!
Outrageous, I tell you.
There you go.
All
Now
right.
you've been told off.
I'm
So-
coming next week.
Come and see us. We're in Enfield. It's only one train, 20 minutes by train. It'd be lovely to see you. We can show you our space.
Yes, I'd love that, to see that tree that's behind you, Aisha.
Yeah. Joe and I nearly killed each other putting up that sticker tree. It was.
Yeah, well, I wanted to put some of that on my ceiling, but didn't dare because I don't have a Joe to help me out.
Yeah, well, you can borrow Joe. I mean, he's practically your Joe too.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I come and pay you a visit, but then you have to come to Forest Gate.
Oh, I love Forest Gate. I absolutely love Forest Gate.
All of you, we could have a picnic and we could eat cherries and spit the kernels everywhere and say another SF question. It'd be fun. Imagine how in 10 years time, how many of these are going to blossom because of us.
Yes, that's true. No, that's true.
That's a great heritage. We grew from a kernel.
You know, Biba, Joe's talking about you. Did you see that? I would never do that.
I was saying to Lorraine, what a lovely plant that is.
Yeah.
Oh, like that.
All right, Biba, you're going to hang on for a bit, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for today. You're full of life. You're always wonderful to speak to you.
And crazy
Always
as hell.
wonderful to see you. Well,
Crazy, but in a lovely, lovely way.
Yeah, she's crazy.
I'll
as
give
hell.
you a banana. It's really good for you, I tell you.
You honestly, you're absolutely incredible, and I'm very honoured to know someone like you, and I know Joe feels the same way. So I can't wait for our hug.
Yeah.
An actual hug would be really, really nice. And I don't know if you watched Elfie and Dominic last night, but there is a way of giving a very special hug.
Oh.
There's a hug and then there's a hug. So
No.
I kind of need to meet up with them so they can show me the hugs. But it was the hug that brought them together, you see.
When I'll do my interview.
I absolutely love it. But yeah, everyone, so I think our next FBS chat, Joe, what is it? Is on Monday. No. When is it? What date is it today? It's actually on Monday. And it's Tara Gretton hosting the FBS chat and interviewing Joe and I.
Yay!
I hope she goes easy on us.
Yeah, she
Finally.
will.
Yeah, it's our turn, but we've got so many more wonderful people coming on. But Biba, you're absolutely amazing. Stay right there, and everyone else.
Hi,
Speak to you
everybody.
soon.